Hello. Zada Hedron Grinder is an incredibly common commander, and for good reason. Sitting at number 147 on EDH Rec's most popular commanders, her ability to copy cantrips and buffing effects for your whole board is obscenely powerful, so it's no wonder she's sitting where she is. However, as a personal preference, I tend to stray away from popular commanders. I usually like more niche ideas as I feel they can get my personality across better, and I love the "huh" from the table when I tell them who I'm playing. So, why am I talking about Zada today? Well, while I normally go for unique commanders, another avenue I enjoy is taking popular ones and building an off-the-wall strategy for them. So, what direction do players normally take with Zada? Let's look on EDH Rec. Goblins? Makes sense. Tokens? I can definitely see why. Spellslinger? Well, that's what the card says, yeah. However, not even listed in the tag section with only 12 Zada decks is an archetype I have always wanted to build, and one that I feel fits her perfectly. Stuffy Doll. Now this card is goofy. A 5-mana 0/1 artifact creature with indestructible, and an ability that reads, as Stuffy Doll enters, choose a player. Whenever Stuffy Doll is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to chosen player. Now, I'll bet where you can see where this is going, right? We have a lot of cards like Stuffy Doll on the field, cast a spell that deals direct damage to Zada, copy it for all of them, and then all those copied burn spells are redirected to our opponents as many times as we have Stuffy Dolls. We just need a bunch of creatures with similar effects, like Brash Taunter, Babyface from Toy Story, and... oh. Well, now that's not a very big list, huh? There are several other creatures that deal damage when they're dealt damage, like Mog Maniac, Spiteful Sliver, and the guy who sits in the corner and mutters at parties, but I bet you noticed the issue with these. None of them have indestructible. So what, does that limit us to only casting 1 or 2 burn spells on Zada per turn? That just kind of seems a little bad. And without compromising to run tutors, it didn't seem like there was enough there to constitute a functional deck. So how do we get over this hurdle? I took a bit of a break from building Zada and moved on to other decks, figuring I'd come back to her when I could think of a way to get the Stuffy Doll idea off of the ground. While working on a sweet little Hans Eriksson number, which I'll showcase in a future video, I was browsing for equipments that could make his drawback a moot point. Then I realized there were quite a lot of ways to give creatures you control indestructible. It hit me like a freight train. Here was the last piece of the puzzle I needed for Zada. Shield of Kaldra, Mithril Coat, Hammer of Dazan, Darksteel Plate, Endurance Bobblehead, Kaldra Complete, and that which was taken would make all of those non-indestructible Stuffy Doll-esque cards functional. So let's go back and find some more cards that work with our theme. Screaming Nemesis from the new Duskmourn set immediately comes to mind, with her ability to turn off life gain being incredibly strong. Silverclad Ferocidons has that Enrage ability that forces our opponents to sacrifice creatures, so they can act as some extra removal pressure. Fear of Burning Alive lets us turn the direct damage to our opponents into damage to their creatures as well, and Donna Noble and Fiendlash are both ways to give Zada the Stuffy Doll ability. I also put Coalhauler Swan in here, which is decidedly bad since he deals the damage to all players, but I love him. He's just a baby, so he stays. We also have more ways to flood the board with 30 Stuffy Dolls. There are a lot of cards, especially in red, that let you copy creatures or artifacts. Mycosynth Gardens and Mirror Pool are lands that can become a copy of a Stuffy Doll. Sculpting Steel just enters as a copy, while you can make Mirage Mirror a copy for 2 mana until end of turn. Mirror Works lets you pay 2 mana to create a token copy of an artifact as long as you have the Mirror Works on the battlefield before you drop the Stuffy Doll. Prototype Portal and Soul Foundry both have Imprint, so you can exile a Stuffy Doll effect from your hand as you cast them, and essentially just play multiple copies of them. Helm of the Host makes token copies at your combat step, while Splinter Twin makes copies until end of turn. Molten Duplication is in the deck as well, as if you cast it targeting Zada, you can create a copy of every creature you control until end of turn. That card will end some games. The wonderful thing about these spells that copy artifacts is that if you're happening to draw into all of your non-artifact Stuffy Doll effects, you can just copy all of the equipment necessary to make them indestructible. Now we come to the most fun part of this deck, casting burn spells on our own creatures. The beauty of this section is that all of these cards are dual purpose, letting us either get a billion Stuffy Doll triggers by targeting Zada, or just outright removing a troublesome creature that our opponents control. Abrade and Agate Assault are perfect examples of this, letting us destroy artifacts if we need to. Banefire, Blaze, and Shatter Skull Smashing are all good both early and late game, with the X in their casting cost making them extremely versatile. The Roller Crusher Ride is similar while also being a way to double our non-combat damage if we meet the Delirium criteria. Unholy Heat cares about Delirium as well, making it a 1 mana 6 damage burn spell if it's active. Cards like Burst Lightning, Blazing Salvo, and Lightning Bolt are all just strong all-around cards that work for early removal as well. There are also several cards that not only deal damage, but also cantrip, like Blind Blast, Flick a Coin, Playful Shove, Rile, and Zap. These spells are all-stars in here, with the ability to draw so many cards when copied with Zada. There are also several other ways to draw and filter through cards, like Accelerate, Crash Through, Crimson Whiffs, and Overmaster. Brass's Tunnel Grinder lets us wheel while keeping the cards we want in hand, and Valakut Awakening is an NDFC that does the same. Duretti Scrap Savant lets us filter with his +2, while also being able to recur artifacts with his other 2 loyalty abilities. Virtue of Courage gives us impulse draw when we deal non-combat damage, while Artist Talent and Spell Satchel both reward us for casting instants and sorceries. Normally I would consider Spell Satchel a bit too slow, but since it's also a mana rock and triggers for both casts and copies, it fits really nicely with Zada. We also have a fairly straightforward ramp package with cards like Felwar Stone, Thran Dynamo, and Iron Mirror. Ruby Medallion and Thought Vessel are standouts, with the former giving a flat discount on all of our red spells, and the latter being very convenient when our cantrip burn spells are going off. And that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed this janky spin on Zada Hedron Grinder. If there are other popular commanders that you feel fit an archetype that most people don't run with them, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear all your ideas, and if I ever make a deck with that concept, you will absolutely be shouted out in that video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.